Most of the drills are going to happen in this area. Please do not go into that area until we tell you, right? Because we will be having a special time, right, on the other side. Some of you may have heard the kill room, right? The kill room's going to be on that side. So, actually, I should probably clip this on, or I'll just hold it. So, I think we all know each other. Matt Lowry Sensei from Great Lakes Aikido. I am Manuel De Hoya from Evanston Aikido Center. We conceived this actually a couple of years ago when we were training with Lisa Tomoyoni Sensei. And one of our friends, Wyatt Smith, said, hey, you know, can we go over Tanto today? And they asked me how I felt about Tanto and Aikido. I'm like, yeah, you're going to get killed, basically, you know, if you try any of that stuff, right? And so, you know, Lisa had said, you know, after we did some drills and some illustrative exercises of why you would get killed if you just totally relied on what you learn on the mat, right? You know, we quickly decided we need to have a class, right? And this evolved from just a 1 hour to a 3 hour class because there is so much material to cover. So when there is an act of violence and you're dependent on a third party to protect you, all three of you, the perpetrator, the victim, and the protector, all happen to have to converge in one spot. Think about how often that's going to happen. So, and that's why it's important for us to have to bear some kind of responsibility, right, in terms of our own protection. So, and the goal here is not to be John Wick, right? You're not going to be going around knocking people down, disarming people, right? The point here is to survive a violent encounter. But the way we differentiate this from other self-defense courses, and you don't have to sit in Seiza if you don't want to, by the way, we try to give you all the skills and identify all the opportunities leading up to the physical encounter, right? Because the point is to live. It's not to survive, to disarm the other person. And it's a secondary thing, right? Be able to guide others so they can survive. But obviously, if you're dead, you can't guide others. So priority here is to survive, right? So that's the basic premise of this course. The other premise is to make sure we introduce you to the realities of what an adrenaline dump feels like. So you're going to sweat today. Your heart rate's going to be up. Just want to set expectations. For folks who've never taken this course before, or have not taken these types of courses, which I see everybody here is pretty much a martial artist, so you're used to contact, there will be contact. But if you want to sit it out, that's okay.
I just want to mention a couple of things. So as Manny was alluding to, I mean, there's our traditional training on the mat, and then there's, you know, what you can realistically run into. If you, I mean, Manny and I were talking about this. I think between the two of us, we have easily over 50 years of experience of martial arts of one form or another training, and we've done a lot of this knife work. He and I, this is the thing that he and I really like, and even with that, as you will see very soon, if you encounter an even close to realistic scenario where there is a knife, it is. The reality is you're going to get cut, you're going to get stabbed. You just have to accept that, because the thing that people don't realize is these are extremely quick weapons. These are very fast weapons, and they do not require much force at all to do damage. And so we're about to demonstrate here in a minute sort of the traditional way of training with a knife, sort of a tanto dori, if you will. And then we'll have another scenario, which is maybe a little more on the realistic side. And I see a couple of you smiling because you know what's coming. And if you want to see a good example of this, go onto YouTube and just type in shank tank. And what that is that shows a very interesting dichotomy here, because in the shank tank videos, what they basically do is they take these really tough MMA fighters and they put them in a situation where they're dealing with a sort of a realistic knife attack, and almost every single one of them do it very badly. They do. It's interesting to watch. So if you want to follow this up with anything, look up the shank tank. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep forgetting we have this.
No, it's okay. Let me just go over the schedule real quick in case you're wondering what it's going to be like. So this is a 3-hour course, right? We're in the first hour right now. Obviously, we're still relaxing. That's fine. Your heart rate will be up shortly. The first part is going to be introductions and expectations, what we're talking about right now. We're also going to talk about, we're going to do what's called a sewing machine drill, which some of you will have a lot of fun with. And then we're going to have a discussion, some drills around situational awareness. One person's offense and one person's defense, and then we'll tell you to switch. Yep. Okay, stop! How many minutes do you think you were doing that? 2. Somebody was timing, yeah. Yeah, that was about 2 minutes, roughly. Each of you had about a minute each, right? But what did it actually feel like? A lot longer, right? So your heart rate's up, right? And now, who's got the steadiest hands here right now? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad, okay? Because what you're experiencing right now is a partial. It's not a full adrenaline dump, but you're experiencing an adrenaline dump, right? And that's when your heart rate's up, adrenaline's flowing through your system, right? Now, the problem with that is what? What do you think? You get tunnel vision? Did anybody experience any kind of tunnel vision while this was happening? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. What else?
Well, I mean, if it's tunnel vision, that means it can't think clearly.
Exactly. The other thing is there's actually a neuroscience around the number of options you have in your head, number one, right? Because as martial artists, we kind of think about, oh yeah, if that happens, I'm going to do a kotegaeshi, I'm going to do an ikkyo, which is kind of cool, right? But the reality is the more options you're running through your head at the same time, the slower your reaction time is going to be. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is when you have an adrenaline dump, you'll probably think of 1 or 2 things and that's it, right? Now, hopefully, those 2 things, and that's one of our goals today, is that, and I don't think there's going to be a problem with anybody here, is to curl up in a ball in a fetal position. That is not an option. The other thing is, and this is for the Aikido folks around here, right? And this is actually part of a defensive system called the spear system. Don't think about the technique, think about defending yourselves. That's kind of my point here, right? Is that we are more in the, I'm going to go from this motion, an irimi or a tenkan, right? And then go into some technique. No, use this to disengage.
Can I steal the mic?
Sure,
I just want to make
go ahead.
A couple of quick comments. So, just to pick up off the point that Manny's making, as many of you noticed, there's a loss of dexterity under these circumstances, right? And when we're doing sort of the more traditional training, to perform something like a sankyo or a kotegaeshi, it requires a lot of dexterity. But if you have the adrenaline dump, that dexterity kind of goes out the window. And so how do you narrow this down to a few very basic, I won't even say techniques, I'll just say a few very basic principles. Okay, so Adam, I'm going to go on the other end here. And what you need to do is you are going to walk over to the other end here, okay? And not yet. And at random, whoever is on the side here, you get to try to reach out and touch him, right? And all you're doing is just trying to reach and maybe like touch his shoulder or poke him in the side like this or something like that, okay? You're trying to avoid that while still getting to the other end here. Yeah, just walk. Yeah, and that's it. So this is a test of that situational awareness, okay? And what we're going to do is everybody's going to go through this once, and then we're going to discuss a couple of things, and we're going to try it again. Okay? And Manny wants to make a point. So Adam, when you get done, we'll do everybody on this side first, and then we'll do everybody on this side. So you'll come here, and then it'll be your turn, and then you guys will just cycle down until we've done this whole side, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay? And it's just a casual walk. That's all it is. Now I'll get out of the way of the camera here. Okay, so everybody cycle down here. Okay, and then come on through, Sam. And again, like just a few of you try to touch her. Okay, and then there, cycle down, and then Calliope. Okay, and then cycle down, and then Dennis. Okay, and then that's everybody on this side. So now we'll start with, I'm sorry, what's your name? Okay, so scooch down a little. All right, and then you walk through. Yeah, okay, and then over here. Yeah, we're gonna go do a couple rounds after everybody's had a chance. Okay, and then over here. So come on this side. Okay, and Ellen. Okay, good. Yeah, that's much better movement than before.
Now, this was a drill that is stacked against you, right? For obvious reasons. Number one, there's so many of you, right? The other thing is, this is Mr. Situational Awareness here. In the last class I was teaching with a Joe, he managed to actually avoid me poking him with a Joe after I threw him. But it's hard. What changed there? What was the dynamic there? What did you observe?
I saw it coming.
You saw it coming, but it still hit you, right? Yeah.
And whoever is stabbing, really kind of try to step. So you see how your position is. You were here. So otherwise, she's going to come here.
And feel that pressure of the knife and make sure you got targets behind you.
Yes.
Right?
Got a knife contract. What do I do?
First you run.
Okay.
You just run out. Yeah. That's very first. You just boom, go out the. That's very first thing.
Okay. Get out the door. Okay. It's a little more short. So
Right, so that's fine.
Just a slightly more advanced concept here, guys. As time goes, somebody else. You know this time. This time you know who the attack is. Go. Okay, somebody, hang on. Stop. That's good.
Keep going. You still got a target. Get her.
That's it.
Hey, good. You got this, right? She got hit once, and then she deployed this, and she stayed on the outside, and she maneuvered him towards the inside of the room, and then she ran out. She gave him a little push into an obstacle, and then she ran. And you only got stabbed once. So, but now you're able to maybe get some help from the other people that escaped while they're calling 911. Okay.